So Jeremy Corbyn has gone after billionaire media barons, and well, we know he's talking about Elon Musk. Billionaires should not own social media platforms. Billionaires should not own our newspapers. Billionaires should not control our politics. A free media is a democratic media, a public good that is owned and run by us all. And I don't really see how anyone should disagree. Well, apart from one man who was in his replies, and that was Elon Musk himself. So Musk replied, should too, with a face with a tongue sticking out emoji like a fucking dweeb. Kind of sums up the state of the world, doesn't it? Grown-up politicians are talking about unchecked power from a handful of people and the need for democratic accountability. And divorced weirdo just replies, should too, hee. Now, this is something Jeremy Corbyn has spoken about for years. He foresaw the likes of Musk and now Zuckerberg using media platforms to essentially buy elections. Yet he was attacked by the so-called sensibles. I mean, where are they now? Every single hack journalist who accused Jeremy Corbyn of being a wannabe dictator because he dared to attack the corporate media, I mean, they should be embarrassed to say anything else in public given what's going on now. Somehow, I don't think they will. But thanks to Musk turning Twitter into a right-wing slop machine, it's unsurprising that some of the replies to Corbyn's tweet are just unhinged, sweaty madness. But you were okay when all left-wing billionaires own them, right? No. When has he ever been okay with billionaires owning social media platforms? I mean, look, he's always spoken out against this. So I don't know where you got that idea from. Funny how you would never say these things when Jack Dorsey owned Twitter. He did, though. For years, he's talked about the issue with the media and the issue with social media. This here is Jeremy Corbyn talking about attacks on tech firms to fund local journalism back in 2018. The Labour leader called for radical reform, external of the failing news media in a speech at the Edinburgh TV Festival. Other ideas include a digital licence fee paid for by rich tech companies and internet providers, and publishing data on BBC's employees' social class. He said he wants greater investment in investigative public interest journalism. Existing not-for-profit news organisations like the Bureau for Investigative Journalism could be given charitable status, he said. This public interest media fund could be paid for either through a content sharing and advertising revenue agreement with Google, similar to that agreed in France or Belgium in 2013. Or, if it's not possible, he said a Labour government will be prepared to explore a one-off tax on the profits of the market-leading search engine and other platforms. Mr. Corbyn also said he wants a dogged local media with money and time to work on stories. He said quality journalism requires decent pay, citing statistics which show 24% of journalists earn less than 20 grand a year. Journalists in the private sector could elect their editors to help make them accountable to the staff as well as corporate bosses. New news cooperatives could be created to report on local government, private contractors operating public services, and regulated bodies. The best journalism takes on the powerful in the corporate world as well as government and helps create an informed public, he said. So that is him talking about corporate power, but also government power. We've got more comments though. Owned and run by us all literally just means run by the government. Well, in that article I just cited, he talks about the need to take on corporate and government power. So no, it's not two things. It's not either something is ran by billionaires or controlled by billionaires and then ran by the state. That's not how it works. But the alternative is typically state-run and state-funded media, which is also a disaster. It's either a government mouthpiece or infiltrated by activists. At least with media controlled by billionaires, you are under no illusion it is independent and unbiased, unlike the BBC. Well, as I just said, once again, I mean, this person doesn't seem to get it. They think it's either corporate control or government control. There can be another way. This person clearly doesn't understand any power dynamic in society, that the idea that governments are infiltrated by activists, when governments historically and today expend all the state power attacking activists. There are no activists infiltrated by the government. That is an insane thing to say. Look, when it's run by the government, technically it's actually more democratic when a single billionaire owns it because we still elect our governments, right? There's still like a semblance of democratic control, although I wouldn't want the media owned by the government because it is obviously going to be prone to pro-government propaganda. But on the flip side, when a billionaire owns the means of communication, it's just propaganda from the billionaire side. So, of course, when we have social media platforms silencing or not talking about workers' movements across the world, not talking about the genocide in Palestine, but they want to talk about wokeness and immigration and shit that makes you angry that doesn't matter to you, that is propaganda on their behalf. You don't seem to get that. But nothing beats this one. But what if that billionaire is a benevolent force for humanity? One who runs a platform that is truly transparent and allows everyone a voice with no censorship. You know, like the democratic and open platform I'm replying to you on now. How is another free publicly owned media different from this one? Pretty certain Elon Musk would sign up, get 200 million followers and make the exact same posts. Is it perhaps because you think you might have a better chance of shutting him down? You, like everyone else, are free to express your left-wing views on here, and I don't see Elon censoring you or anybody else. For your information, Elon has made several requests for more left-wing content on Twitter in the interest of balance in case you missed that. I'm not entirely sure what you're arguing for. I mean, half that tweet is just wrong. Elon Musk has never called for more left-wing content on Twitter. The idea that you're free to express your left-wing views, I mean, some left-wing views, sure, but there's a bunch of things that get censored. I mean, you can't even say the word cis, which these freaks think it's a slur. It's not. Yet you can literally do Nazi posting, and you can say the most heinous racist stuff, report it, and it'll be like, there's nothing wrong with that. Elon Musk, right, controls the algorithm. He's manipulated it. If you've seen over the last couple of years, you've seen content that's been more towards the right. You've seen far more MAGA and fascist and Nazi posting because Elon Musk has literally changed the algorithm. And that, Twitter, the content on there, is literally behest to one single billionaire with his own political views. And how is Twitter democratic? Like, how do you get to have a say in the terms of service? No, you don't. You literally have no say on the policy. It's Musk's platform. This is how it goes. And if you don't abide by the rules, then you can get your account suspended or deleted, which, by the way, was the same under Jack Dorsey, was the same under every single billionaire-owned social media platform, which is why Jeremy Corbyn and those on the left have always talked about it. It wasn't just when Musk took over Twitter. It's just worse now because Musk is a deranged fascist. Do you seriously think that Elon Musk is benevolent and a benevolent force for humanity? Just fucking insane stuff. Look, Corbyn is entirely right. Obviously, it's not about the government owning the media because that's not democratic control. He's pointed that out. What we need is the media to be broken up. And I find it funny how people on the right and libertarian types hate tyranny when it's the government, but are completely fine with tyranny when it's by corporations. What we need is more local journalism, which I do think the government can do by some sort of funding, because if you rely just on private capital, well, it's always going to be the rich and powerful because they have all of the capital. So the government is a good source of trying to redistribute some of that capital towards ordinary people and local communities, and that money can be raised to create local journalism. Because no one right now can say, right, I'm going to start my own media platform. You can't do that unless you've got loads and loads of money. And the ones who have loads of money are the powerful in society. And when they create their own media platforms, well, they're just going to push out propaganda that suits the powerful. So in terms of government funding, I think that's fine. It's common practice. But the media is no different to monopolised public services. Privatisation of Royal Mail, railways, energy, that makes no sense when it's owned by corporations because they are natural monopolies. The media is something that is heavily monopolised. You can't just easily set up your own media channel. I mean, if you want to do that, then you'll need what GB News had when they first started, which was 60 million quid of foreign capital. And of course, you don't get the government to own the media. What you do is you incentivize ways of local communities to get involved, which is, again, something Jeremy Corbyn has spoken about for years. Social media can be broken up. Just think about the internet when it first started. It was way more accountable instead of loser divorced billionaires owning it all. Mastodon is an example. I mean, there's no single owner, but groups and communities can run their own servers. Now, Mastodon might not overtake Twitter, and it might not be a generally extremely successful platform, but these are ideas we should be looking at instead of what we have right now, which is every time Musk has a tantrum, it affects global politics. No one should have that kind of power.
Support independent media. Support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.